That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that, and it became personal with me.
Luka splits a double, keeps the dribble alive, all the way to the hoop, scoop to the hoop with a ball! Point 71 and 72!
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Since 1949, the first of the NBA was invented, we've only seen 4 players ever score 73 or more points. Of course, Wilt Chamberlain, the forgotten David Thompson, Kobe, and now Luka Doncic. The odds for any player at any point in history to crack that scoring barrier is a 0.0000018% chance.
Those are pretty good odds, Mr. Spock. And they are, of course, accurate, Captain. Of course.
And looking at Luka's game, of course, 73 is fantastic. But this game had a little extra spice to it. As they're playing the Hawks, the team that drafted him and traded him, this is definitely a get back and kind of a revenge game versus Trae Young. And of course, sad to note, January 26th of the day Kobe Bryant officially passed away in that tragic helicopter incident. The stars tonight just aligned perfectly. Luka with a Kobe tribute on the day he passed away versus the team that drafted him. I mean, you can't write a better script than this. And really quickly going in depth, looking at some unique Luka stats from this game, efficiency-wise, it might be the best game in NBA history. As compared to 70-point games, Luka all-time ranks first in field goal percentage at 75.8%. Again, among 70-point games, Luka ranks first in true shooting percentage at 91.2. Effective field goal percentage, Luka once again ranks first among 70-point games. And last but not least, among 70-point games, Luka has the highest 3 percentage in NBA history.
What are you worried about? I'm in the zone, man! I'm in the fucking zone. They're pissed off. I'm in the zone.
What we just witnessed was one of the more unique, efficient games of all time. And for someone like Luka Doncic, one of the best scorers of all time already, to be that efficient is even mind-blowing for him. And if you want to rank the best games of all time, of course, Wilt's 100, Kobe's 81, those 2 games definitively are in their own upper echelon as the greatest games of all time. But Luka's 73, I mean, it's somewhere in that top 5, at least top 10. I haven't made a full list yet, but this right here, one of the best games in NBA history. And I mean, even for Wilt Chamberlain standards, to only miss 8 shots in a game, score 73, is just mind-boggling. And maybe even crazier than that is Luka's Mavericks teammate help just being simply abysmal. For starters, Kyrie yet again wasn't playing, sitting out, hurt, I don't know what's going on. And his starters, across the board, just gave him nothing. And if you watch this game late in the 4th quarter, the Hawks, for the last, 8 minutes of the game, were double-teaming Luka and shadowing him with 3 Hawks defenders. Even with that going on, Luka's teammates were selling him repeatedly. There were numerous blown layups, missed floaters, and some guys just throwing the ball away. Looking at Luka's starting teammates, Josh Green had 21 points, by far his best teammate. Derek Lively, 9 points. Grant Williams, also 9 points. And then Derek Jones, 2 points. Luka's starting cast combined for 41 points on the game. First in perspective, Luka in the first half by himself had 41.
That boy is good.
And look, it's not a one-to-one comparison, but in terms of teammate help, Kobe's 81, Luka's 73. It is eerily similar, as in Kobe's game, just like Luka, only had 2 teammates in double figures. Now, looking at the NBA in 2024, of course, we're almost numb to it now. Guys scoring 40 points, 50 points, 60, even 70. I mean, the past week alone, we've had 2 60-point games, and 2 70-point games. I think it's pretty obvious to everyone, offense is the name of the game for basketball in 2024. And looking at Luka himself, of course, being a foreign superstar, it's no surprise this guy came as close to Kobe's 81 as any player since 2006. And by Luka scoring 73, having a dominant year so far, it's once again the trend of foreign players dominating this league. And like I've showed you guys numerous times, from the players themselves talking about it, European basketball rules overseas are much harder than the NBA.
The game in Europe is way harder than the game in the NBA. And I don't want to disrespect the talent. Obviously, in the NBA, it's way higher. But the space is just...
Scoring is easier in NBA just because of the amount of the different rules, the less space, the time. So that's why I said it.
So you think it's harder to score 30 points in a EuroLeague game than it is in an NBA game?
Yeah, 100%.
You have a lot of lanes to drive the ball, a lot of lanes to create. It's just, I think over there is more intense. Like people pick you up full court, double team you, full court zone, to man to the last 5 second double teams from the start from zone, and then they go man to man last 10 seconds, and then the double team you in the post. There's no lanes to drive. Like it's just the more physical.
Because the guy can stay. If you have a guy like, let's say, Rudy Gobert, he can stay in the paint on defense 3 seconds, however he wants. Like, just because of that rule, you can have 10 more points easily.
And looking at Luka specifically, over the past 2 years, he's the best high-volume scorer the NBA has seen. As in 70-point games, ranks tied for first, 60-point games, tied for first, 50-point games, again, tied for first, 40-point games, the same deal, and 30-point games, second place at 74. The guy who's tied Luka in most of those categories is actually Joel Embiid, which may be surprising, but also might not be, because Embiid is a beast during the regular season. Luka in many ways is the anti-Joel Embiid, as in the playoffs, he's far from a dropper, and if anything, gets drastically better, as currently ranked second all-time in scoring average at 32.5, only behind Jordan, compared to Embiid at 24.0. And looking past the stats, the milestones, the advanced metrics, one thing I found absolutely hilarious in this game was that Hawks fans were turning on their own team and actively rooting for Luka to score 70 points. As in the fourth quarter, when Luka passed the ball to a teammate, there were audible groans from Hawks fans. Anytime he saw a double team, his teammate made a mistake, Hawks fans were pissed. It's almost like Larry Bird back in '85 when he also scored a career high in points. And ironically, that game was versus the Hawks and Dominique Wilkins, who in this game was on the call for Luka's 73. And speaking of Larry Bird, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but Luka scoring 73 once again shows Bird in today's NBA would be absolutely fine. I mean, if Luka get on a treadmill Doncic, can average 30 points per game routinely, score 50 points, 60 points with ease, Larry Legend would feast on today's players. And even versus today's athletes, in a league full of giants with 40-inch verticals who can run 4 340s, a skilled player like Luka always wins out. So, as always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.